Juicin is all about getting locked into a rhythm and just feeling the flow of a game. It almost seems like cheating to award it to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. At its best, this series is pretty much the definitive Juicin game, but after over a decade of sorry re-releases and sequels, it's something special to boot THPS up and know that, alright, we're back at it. From the moment you hear the first few notes of Guerrilla Radio to the second you pull off your first huge combo and clear every gold in the warehouse in one fell swoop, playing 1+2 feels like coming home. They say you never forget how to ride a bike, but you apparently don't forget how to do a sick 2-minute combo full of reverts and manuals either.
I don't want to say too much about the house in Fata Morgana, only because I really just want more people to play it. At this stage of my life, I've played several visual novels, but none have been the perfect storm that the geniuses over at Novectical have managed to concoct for me. It has an incredible gothic horror atmosphere, beautiful music, and some of the wildest twists I've seen a story take. If you think you can stomach its darker themes, you'll find a hopeful and beautiful story about loving yourself and learning to love other people after a lifetime of suffering. I'm thankful that some ridiculous controversy near the beginning of the year gave me cause to finally give it a look, because it's quickly become one of my all-time favorite games.
もう遅いわ。歯車は噛み合ってしまったのだから。あなたの望まぬ方向に。
Fruit Bat Factory's Little Game That Could has been updating with new characters and modes regularly since its initial release in 2013, and it's about time it got recognized for its continued support. 100% OJ is still the game of royalty around VGCC, and whenever there's an update, a voice chat would get started in the Discord and a few rounds would be played. Mod support was also recently added to OJ, so every card in the game, for me, has been replaced by a Yu-Gi-Oh card of similar ability. Because of course I did. 100% Orange Juice is a simple game, one that barely needs any additions to have a good time. Fruit Bat didn't rest on its laurels, however, and instead added new characters, brought in MOBA-esque free character rotations, then added further game modes to spice up the fun. As long as there are pre-cure voice actresses that haven't been hired yet, Fruit Bat Factory will continue to create unique characters that fundamentally change how the game is played. This is certainly orange juice that won't expire anytime soon.
I don't have a very graceful reason for why this game is at the top of my list, but here it is. It has zombies. That's all it takes. Don't get me wrong, I love the campaign of Black Ops Cold War, and the multiplayer is great from what I've played. But damn, can I sink hundreds of hours into running in circles with a ray gun. This was the year I thought my interest in COD would fizzle. I surely thought that Activision wouldn't let Treyarch make an interesting story, much less spend resources tuning multiple game modes. I was prepared for another Call of Duty title with a Battle Royale mode I'm not totally interested in and a milquetoast campaign, but thankfully, I was surprised. All things considered, Black Ops Cold War delivered tons more than I expected, and the game was hitting on all fronts, with 3 great experiences in campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. I was floored by the campaign's story, at least for a Call of Duty title, and ended up loving the combination of classic Black Ops faces with new characters. Once I finished through each ending of the campaign and hopped into zombies, I found an experience so far beyond my expectations that I was certain I would be playing this game for quite a while. Everything about zombies was improved and expanded upon, and after the shaky course of Black Ops 4 zombies, it felt like Treyarch once again meaningfully put resources into crafting zombies. with continued free support for a game mode I've always loved but didn't always want to spend $90 on just to play the maps, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War has certainly solidified itself as a game I'll keep coming back to.
Bell, listen to me. I need you to remember. Think back to our time in Vietnam one more time.
Sending your chick a Valentine, huh?
Yep.
Johnny! Johnny! Johnny!
Cool, I broke his brain.
You know, kind of like more of a virtual chat room, but there are like things that can happen.
Oh! Dead body discovered. Okay. Hello, everyone. Oh no!
Where was everybody?
Against all the big releases in 2020, not a single soul could have guessed that Among Us would take the scene by storm. With its modest art style brimming with character and impeccably simple, effective design, Among Us was just waiting for a chance to prove itself. Unfortunately for everyone, the wait would span across 2 entire years, which made its rise to prominence all the more endearing. Social deduction games are standard fare in tabletop and video games alike, but what set Among Us apart was its ease of access. Knowledge is king, and while mechanical skill can help you accomplish tasks or murder targets more efficiently, it isn't necessary to succeed. One's ability to navigate meetings and suss out imposters or weak links in the crew is just as valuable as mechanical aptitude. And it's for this reason that Among Us caters to a wide array of player skill sets and rewards performance in ways that are both intuitive and fun. 2020 was a critical year for all of us, and while the pandemic certainly had a hand in Among Us' surge to popularity, the game's core strengths are what made it an instant classic, even if it took us a couple years to see it venting from medbay.
Yeah, that was...
Yay! Good job!
Hey, you
The Last of Us Part 2 is still probably the worst game I have ever played in my life. Its libertarian and nihilistic worldview, and leanings on a pseudo-progressive version of prestige television theming, showcase exactly why it's still so hard to take big-budget games seriously. The Last of Us 2 simultaneously wants to make sure you know that revenge is bad, and people are people, while consistently dehumanizing nearly every character involved with its inane and laughably bad plot. This is a game where at one point a character says, "Don't shoot her, she's pregnant," and another responds, completely seriously, "Good." At no point during its excruciating 20-plus hour runtime does it even stop to imagine the potential of people coming together and making things better. Instead, positing a world where the only response to anything involves either a knife or a gun. Even worse, outside the game, the accolades and praise heaped upon Naughty Dog post-release has taught studio heads everywhere that employee crunch is more than just acceptable. It's encouraged and rewarded. There were incalculable amounts of time and sums of money thrown away by poor management, but with the continued reverence of people like director Neil Druckmann, who has been promoted post-launch in light of the game's success, the people behind it will only continue to rise up. The Last of Us Part 2 is representative of some of the worst aspects across the medium of games, and foretells a grim future across AAA games as a whole.
In what was a real tough year for a lot of reasons, there was something comforting about seeing games from the past return and take shape in a way I could only imagine them doing when I was a kid. It's hard to think of a more clear example of that than Final Fantasy VII Remake, a game that came out just a couple of weeks after I'd been furloughed from work, and that helped in some way to make things not only feel normal, but to transport me back to a time in my life when I didn't have to worry about things like pandemics, political unrest, or the crushing weight of everyday life. Over the years, I've had a complex and lengthy relationship with the original game, from adoration to disdain to begrudging affection, before this year coming full circle. I devoured Remake, playing it non-stop for 4 or 5 days straight, 100%ing it in that time, and coming to the conclusion that it stands as one of the best games of its generation. Remake is the game I always dreamed the original actually was when I was a little kid, a living, breathing world with complex systems and real people populating the streets of Midgar. That Square Enix managed to modernize it so successfully and in the process finally figured out a way to marry action combat with Final Fantasy's inherent trademark bullshit just makes it even more impressive.
Let's shut up.
Yes, right.
It's hard to think of a single piece of media that moved me quite like that little chime as the camera pulls out of Midgar ahead of the logo splash, followed by the train rushing towards the station. I thought it impossible to properly remake Final Fantasy VII, but they did it, and then some.